I was already in the process of retiring. You got to play them. Tom, you know what I'm saying. And I said, well, maybe I better not retire just yet. I better finish out this session. So in June 24, then I'm going to go out. Then I thought, but anyway, it will do.
Yeah, I'll do this, but
Anyway,
I got the speaker here too. If you want to come up over more this way,
okay.
make sure we can get you on there.
I'm going to talk to the speaker right here. Anyway, Jimmy Standfast, Salem Rotary Club. I joined Rotary in 2003 in the Pulaski County Rotary Club. And if anybody remembers Jackie Howard, that was the same club that she was in. Tommy McNeil, his sister Connie was in my grade. And my brother Gary passed away 2 years ago, was in Tommy's grade. So I've come down to Camden quite a bit. I worked in Camdenton from 92 to 97 at UPS. I worked for Ron Stewart. Some of you know Ron, comes over here. But I'm a member of the Sisseton-Wapit and Oyate in northeastern South Dakota. Anybody been up there? Not much up there, right? Rapid City, a lot. Northeastern South Dakota, crops, and very few towns. Brookings, South Dakota State is there. So that's, I mean, there are things up there that you go up to Kansas City, you get on 29, and you go north, you get to Sioux Falls, then you begin to see crops. You get about 50 miles from North Dakota, then that's where the reservation starts. If anybody's been up there, did you ever see any Indians up there? No, we hide. There's a good reason. They put us on reservations, right? So why wouldn't we? Next slide, please. By the way, great big thank you. I go into clubs and technology is not the strong suit for clubs. And Jeff had mentioned that you did have a little bit of technology here. This man had me up and going faster than any other club I've been to. It's like amazing. Anyway, Rotary clubs are part of a world, the international group of people such as yourselves. And I go to clubs. There are 50 clubs in District 6080 for Rotary clubs. I go to clubs all the time, and it amazes me the people in Rotary. I am so blessed and thankful that I became a Rotarian. It's just been very rewarding for me, and it continues to be rewarding as I meet people such as yourself. Every year, Rotary maintains the service above self as the external thing. The internal thing changes every year. Do you guys have one of these things?
Yes.
Got one of those that says, what does it say on there? What's Gordon McAnally's theme? Create. Correct. So we don't need Gordon to encourage us to do that, but it's interesting that he has done that. Gordon is like Jeff and like me. He's in his term for 1 year. Gordon has his way of leading. Jeff has his way of leading. I have mine. So it's so interesting that Rotary, founded in 1905, can switch leaders every year and continue to operate, even in spite of COVID. I mean, it's not as good as it was before COVID, but we're up and operating, still doing great things in the world. Next slide, please. So Gordon has 3 initiatives that he's asking clubs to work on. The first is to reduce the stigma of mental health. A painful reminder to Gordon that he lost his brother died of suicide. The second initiative, we have any professors and educators. So the second initiative is peace, trying to work with virtual international exchanges to improve peace around the world. So anybody have an iPhone? You're going down the road in Camden County and you're talking and all of a sudden it quits. What do? Throw the cell phone down or what? Okay. Educators, professors who have the knowledge, the technology, the capability, try to communicate to other parts of the world, to professors, to educate them using virtual technology. They have the NO, they don't have the technology. So what Gordon is asking clubs to do is to try to think of ways to change that, to improve satellite technology over there. I don't know, put a Verizon over there. I don't know about that. What can be done to improve those people's opportunities by virtual technology? Third thing, Gordon is asking clubs to do projects that focus on, I can't read it over there, empowering girls. So many things will be mentioned in my talk. Next slide, please. Will that play?
Oh, let's see, I don't know if it'll care, but,
Well, I'll talk to you. Keep it.
see this, yeah, turn the speaker back on. Yeah, I see you jinxed it with the technology talk.
Well, while we're waiting to see if that works. When I was at International Assembly in Orlando, Florida, January of this year, all the district governors elected around the world congregate there at the, anybody been to the Rosen Shade Street? Huge complex, 1,500 rooms, meeting rooms all over the place. So we're in there, we're doing all those meetings. We got all this information coming in, you're absorbing it. And then in Camden County or Camden, you go to the bar or you go to the lounge. You don't go anywhere. I asked that question, most people call it the bar. Yeah, so that's what we did. We went to the bar and we were talking about all the things that happened that day. And one of my counterparts from Lexington, Kentucky came up to me and she gets up in my face. Are you an Indian? The only time I've ever been asked that. Now I'm 70. So, yeah. Wow. She said she wants to change.
Not just because we use horses, but as we use the client's experience from the horses to try to change horses are great. They're very intelligent, but they've been done that even more so. Yeah, it's changed my life. A lot of times we get things that we said at therapeutic setting, and that's those persons. Things that we can't. So there's some insurance not I think they're not matching this period. Not had this group of kids and they said, I win this course. And at the end, he said, but paper, see, when he's in hard station. And then
I think that's it. Thank you. I don't know if you could hear it, but I'll give a couple of examples. Anyway, this lady in the bar was wanting to do a project. She's from Lexington, Kentucky. Her club, her district sends gazillions of dollars all over the world, but they don't do projects in the U.S. with a global grant. And so she was wanting to do a global grant with a Native Indian tribe. And we had just heard Gordon McAnally did a very powerful talk about losing his brother dying of suicide that morning. And so she wants to do a one project. It does the revelation of mental health professionals. Yeah, of course they do. So what about horses or dogs? I said, oh yeah, they have horses. They do horse rides all the time. So she wanted to do a project that focuses on mental health in reducing the stigma of mental health. In other words, make it more acceptable to go seek assistance. And finally, if the person can do it all on the basis. That's how this video came about. This video was produced by EGALA, the Equine Assisted Growth and Learning Association in Illinois. And did anybody see any mountains in that video? Thank you. I gave this talk, and the only question that at the end of my talk, I said, any question? Yeah, where are those mountains? So I had to go back and look at the video to see what mountains the guy was asking about. I don't know where the video is. The guy is in Illinois, where they found the horse ranch. That's where they did the video. EGALA is a subunit of Equine Assisted Learning, which is a mental health entity. Next slide, please. Anyway, there we go. Anyway, a couple of examples of the power of using dogs or horses, animals, to affect someone's ability to function in the mainstream world. First one, I gave a talk at Springfield Southeast Rotary Club, 200 members at the intersection of 65 and 60. In a huge metro area. I gave that talk, said, lady, I asked if anybody have any dealings with horses. Anyone in this room deal with horses? There we go. We have someone who knows horses. Lady raised her hand, and so I asked her, she said, I have a horse ranch. I said, really? So do you know about the Equine Assisted Learning? She said, oh yeah, I know about it. I said, well, where's your horse ranch? She said, it's 6 miles from this building. I said, no way. So she's aware of that. The first example of how effective it is, the lady that Rotary Club in Springfield said her son was the second worst mental health patient that a professional in Springfield, Missouri had ever seen. There was no one for the lad who spent his life in the institution or anything that he could do. What do mothers do? Do they give up? Hardly. She kept looking for solutions to help her son. She finally encountered in the Springfield area at Equine Assisted Learning facility, and she began sessions, and eventually it was powerful, it was effective. The lad is no longer a lad, he's in early 20s, has a job in Springfield, Missouri, so it does work. Second example, lady had recently lost her husband. She was unable to turn loose to move on. Her friend suggested she go to a facility like this. And so I attended myself, I went to the EGALA facility. They explained, you have a breeding, you have a equine certified professional, you have a mental health professional, you have a client, and you have a group of horses. And this her example that I visited, they allow 5 or 6 horses to come in, and then you've been around horses, you know, that kind of frisky, ran, go around, and finally one horse connected with the client. So the client professional released the other horses, and that was the beginning of the first session. Well, this lady, when she lost her husband, she went and the same thing happened. The horses did their thing. The client certified professional, mental health professional. They let the other horses go. One of them stopped and connected with the lady. The horse came behind her and set its head up on her shoulder. So she thinks she's not living here. She didn't know what was the horse doing. The horse was doing that, whatever they do, bonding, connect. Third example, a non-certified anything, but the horse owner had a woman approach her. She said, my son is autistic. And what autistic is, right? The son basically like this, he wouldn't talk. So the other approached the horse owner, hey, can I bring my son over to, because I know you have a horse and have him interact with the horse, and the horse owner said, yeah, I guess you can. I don't know why you would do that. The mother kept bleeding and bleeding, and finally convinced the horse owner to do it. The 2 visits, the Rotarian related to me, she was the horse owner. She said that the mother and the boy came over, and the mother said, okay, here you go, I'll be back. So what does the horse owner do? Wait a minute, you can't do that. I don't know what to do with an autistic child. So the mother insisted, and finally came back. Next session, same scenario. And the horse owner said, look, you cannot leave. I don't know how to handle an autistic person, autistic boy. mother, they talk and finally the mother's consistent, she leaves. So the autistic boy standing there, this is with a horse now, standing there doing his thing, and all of a sudden, this kind of great big smile came across his face. He raised his head up. My mom's hiding there behind the tree. So that's and just that was in the second session. Already the autistic child had began to release that, and none of the examples I've been given, except for the last one, tell them how many sessions it took to be effective. I don't know, but it does work. Next slide, please. Years ago, in Rotary meetings, you go into a parking lot and see these Rotary license plates. Remember, it's been a long time around here, you've never seen that. So why does Jimmy have that? Any marketing people advertising? Take a look at this coat. What do you see? They're called bling. Bling. So they used to have that bling. And the reason I point that out is next slide, please. The reason I point that out is I'll mention that a little bit more. Membership in Rotary in North America has pretty much gone down, while the rest of the world in Rotary membership has gone up. So we're trying to stop that. For how many years was Rotary at 1.2 billion? Year after year after year after worldwide, year after year. And so we're trying to get some improvement in those numbers. Anyone go to PETS in March of this year in Jefferson City? Okay, on Friday night, Shoes for Orphan Souls was introduced by, next slide, please. By this fellow, Larry Lunsford, Kansas City Plaza Rotary, Rotary International trustee of the Rotary Foundation. Next slide, please. So Larry gave a very powerful talk to a room full, a big ballroom full of District 60A, District 6060, or 40, and District 6060. So all of those Rotary clubs, 64 is Kansas City in North, 6060 is St. Louis to South, and 68 is Columbia to Arkansas, or to Branson North, to almost Kansas City. So all of those clubs, not 6110 is down there in that corner, southwest corner, but they didn't attend. They're expected to be at the district conference. Anyway, Larry said, okay, I want all of your clubs to find 10 members from each district and send them out to the end of the room over there. We got 30 people out there, 10 from each district. So okay, everybody take your shoes off. And if anybody could see my knee, there was a lady there with boots up to here. And guess who was the first person to get her shoes off? It was her. So there's a mountain of shoes out there. Larry said, okay, everybody go back to your district. So he explained what was going to happen. We're going to have a race. Everybody's going to go back and get your shoes. And then when you get your shoes on, go back to your district. Okay, go. Who was the first person to get their shoes on? That same girl. How did that happen? The boots were up to here. I don't know how she did that. So everybody goes back to their district, and guess which district was the winner? Are Rotarians competitive? District 6080 won that race. So this is a comment. The guy on the right is District 6060, Governor Valerie Sorensen. That's her husband, Mike. What does that poster say? Let's bury Larry. I like it. Say that again. Let's bury Larry. Next slide, please. And this is the district conference I mentioned. District Governor Randy Steinman from 64 Kansas City Plaza Rotary Club says he goes to conventions all the time. Anybody else do that? I go to meetings all over the place. He says he doesn't want to have another boring Rotary meeting. He wants to have a fun convention. So he coined that term. We've been working on this district conference, 3 district conference for well over a year. And somehow that newly coined term is stuck. Next slide, please.
So it's been years since I've been to this conference. They're really great. This one's at Margaret.
Yeah, it's just right down the road.
So I should really, I have no excuses. I could go by boat. Only 4 miles away from my office.
Well, that is the purpose of it. On the planning and why we picked Margaret, because we want it to be fun. We want people to enjoy it. So here's the 3 district governors, Randy Steinman, Valerie Sorensen. Now going back to that this previous slide that said shoes for orphan souls. Seen this Buckner International? Have you ever heard of them? Dallas, Texas, faith-based entity. They distribute things, items. They send people to different parts of the world. They have the resources to get into countries. Next slide, please. There we go. Shoes caravan. What is that? That's where you get people who can go to different places to pick up shoes. This shoes event rolled out in 2 days following the PEPS training at Jefferson City. I received word that shoes were being collected by clubs. And September the 9th, I went to the Table Rock Lake Ransom Rotary Club, and email after email, back and forth, hey, Jimmy, we have to stop collecting shoes. Email back. We talk about it, you can't do that. Back and forth. We have 2 storage units that are packed full. We can't collect anymore. I said, what a problem. I said, well, I happen to work for A1 Moving and Storage in Rolla. They move the soldiers on and off Fort Mental all the time. I said, I can get a truck. I'll come down there. So we made connections. I went down there on September the 9th, Saturday, loaded an 18-foot truck from floor to ceiling, from front to back, with over 2,000 pairs of new shoes. So at PEPS in March, on Friday, when we walked in, we were supposed to bring our shoes. They stopped us at the door. It's kind of like a craziness. What do you mean stop? So they had us remove the shoes out of the shoebox and then tie them together, they had, and then walk over to a box with the top is open. We drop them in the box. And why we're doing that? Because they need to be transported to Dominican Republic, Peru, and Kenya. So next slide, please. So that first sentence up there, Larry Lunsford, that's a quote. So he's talking about collecting shoes. And you see over there, we will be District 60, 60, 60, 80. I go back to the question, are Rotarians competitive? Yeah, they are. But the interesting thing is, we could have kind of a jump in the other districts. I communicated to Larry Lunsford the problem that the Table Rock Lake Ransom Rotary Club was having, and he said, "I've never heard of that before. 2,000 pairs from one club, and they're still collecting." So, next slide, please. So, anyone been around in 2004-05? There was a similar 3-district conference in Columbia, Missouri. The shoes were collected. I was in the Pulaski County Rotary Club. I remember bringing my shoes in. They were said they're going to go to Columbia. That's about all I knew about it. But at that event, they collected nearly 71,000 pairs. 71,000 pairs of new shoes. Unbelievable. From infant, and Tommy remembers my brother Gary. He was 6'7" when he was a middle teenager, 14, 15. He either had size 14 or 13 shoes. So these shoes are for anyone, any kids really small up to teenager, nearly adult. Open toes and high heels are for obvious reasons. Right? We don't know where these shoes are going, so they need to be functional. Some of the recipients, their life will be changed because of the confidence they have in having a new pair of shoes. So next slide, please. The foundation event, November the 4th in Camden on the Lake. That fellow there, John Germ, past RI president, past foundation chair, he will be there pinning all the new politics fellows. And when I started this out, I thought, well, I'll get cool to get at least one new Colorado fellow for every club in District 68, which is 50. After about the first week, I think I had 12. And it's been multiplying and multiplying and multiplying. One club is inducting 8. One club, a fall club about the size of yours, inducting 8 new ones. Now, that's not their first one with somebody. Some of them might be their first call. So $1,000 a year donated to the Rotary Foundation, to the annual fund or polio plus. And all her fellow club 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4. If it's a new one, John German will hit it. Wine bowl. Anybody know what a wine bowl is? I asked that question. It's really quiet at first, and then people start, I don't know what that is. So donated bottle of wine, no ripple. We talked about this. no ripple, no Boone's Farm, quality wine. They're camouflage, what it is, and then people go up and they donate for that container, they give it back, they open it up, see what it is. And it's, I've not done it, it's had it described to me, I have not ever attended one, pretty much like beer and coffee, that's about it. But it's supposed to be fun, so this idea is a fun event too. Next slide, please. Polio. Anyone know anyone that had polio? Salem, Missouri, Stephen Pines. He had polio and he walked with his crutches at a very slow pace. He couldn't move very well, but he had polio. And next slide, please. I mentioned Jackie Howard from Placer County. She went to this vaccination event in the Philippines as a non-Rotary, but as a medical professional to help the vaccination. She was so enamored with the partnership with the Global Polio Eradication Initiative and other entities who all came together to help vaccinate those children. And she came back. She was doing Rotary. And while she was in the Pulaski County Rotary Club, before she became district governor, I would describe her as a Rotary ball of fire. She would do everything Rotary. She recently, January this year, lost her battle with cancer. But she was district governor. She started a Rotary Peace Building Club. She did so many things. So next slide, please. So Pakistan and Afghanistan tend to be the only place in the world where the wild polio virus exists. Why would that be? Boring factors, they don't allow outsiders to come in. When the outsiders do go in, they don't know if they're still out alive. The number of children that the vaccinators get to go see is just a fraction of what's there. So the wild polio virus is not really ever eradicated. I mentioned the zone event a week and a half ago. Hello there, how you doing? I mentioned that event. At that event, John Yuko, Rotary International General Secretary, said that 2026, that's a number to remember, I have a few more comments about that, is the year based on no new cases. It's a 3-year cycle. It's 3 years prior to 2026, and no new cases. Rotary will be one of the entities that announces that polio has been eradicated. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Next slide, please. Grants. You guys do grants?
Participate, participate with the other 3 clubs, 4 clubs.
Now this slide is up here. It kind of gives you from Rotary International gives you a rough draft of how you can do a grant. On the left, you get together, you decide what you want to do, get with your other partners. The next button is where you get authorization from the club or district. The middle button, you submit it. The 4th button is approved, and the one in green. We have any educators, judges, lawyers, IRS people in here? Okay, you got a stack of paperwork for a case, and it never moves. It does never get submitted. Is the project finished? The case closed? No. So over there in the green, you have to get all that paperwork submitted, then the project is done. Now the first link is the District Simplify grant. Second link is a global grant. Why did Jimmy have that up there? Because every year there are dollars that are available for Rotarians to use for projects that don't get used for various reasons. But I'm aware of 2 global grants. One, the global, the partner was in Ukraine. What's going on in Ukraine? The global grant was held up because they couldn't get the signature from the district governor of Ukraine. The other one was in Africa, same thing. Everything is ready and waiting to get sent in except for that one signature. So they couldn't proceed. The one in Africa and one in Ukraine have since been reconciled. And then Michael Brady, if you have any questions, Springfield Sunrise Rotary Club, he can answer your question for you. I've actually been there when he's on the phone answering the same question 6 or 7 times. Some very patient. He wants you to succeed in the grant process. Next slide, please. Memberships. The bling that I have on the license plate there are things that you are doing in this room that people in the real world don't know they can do. One of the things that I've asked for clubs to do is to keep what you got right now, but add one member by June of 2024. I go to a Rotary Club yesterday and two Rotary Clubs yesterday, and both of them had 2 new members sitting in the room. So I encourage you to try to get it. Next slide, please. That is the Rotary International calendar. World Polio Day is October 24th. December is disease prevention, and March is water sanitation. I mentioned those because the first 3 things I mentioned is reduce the state limit, virtual international exchange, and 2 projects that improve the situation for women and girls. If you don't like those 3, here's 2 more on this project. Next slide, please. So Gordon had asked people in Rotary Club to do projects that improve peace by using virtual technology. So efforts to limit polio, Rotary's first giant step. So can peace through virtual technology, virtual international exchange be Rotary's next giant step? Positive hands, positive technology in the hands of the world winning girls. Is that a possibility? I'm asking folks for help. Remember the iPhone going down the roads in Camden County was working? Those people, their iPhone never been on. They don't have one. They can't communicate. Communication, education. Next slide, please. 66. What does that have to do with Rotary? Anything? Anybody know what Route 66 is? It's I-44 basically from Missouri, Oklahoma to Illinois. So I was at Camden on the Lake. I think it's called the Oak Bank. Over here. At a meeting called by Rotary International Director Elizabeth Youth for District 64 to 66 to 68. And at that event, some of the guys knew that I had a Mustang. They asked me if I knew anything about the Route 66 Centennial. I should, but I don't. Anyway, next slide, please. So one of the guys said, "Hey, you still have your Mustang?" I said, "Yeah." So that's how this discussion popped. You know, you go to conferences, you got all this stuff coming in. So it's coffee and donut time when we got to talk about this. So why don't we do something for the Route 66 Centennial? I said, anybody else have a car? Oh, yeah, I'll speak about it. Well, this girl, she knew that I had a Mustang. She wanted to get her picture taken with my Mustang. I said, sure, I like the sound of that. Let's go. She stopped. I said, no, I don't want you in the picture. So who do you think won this little battle? She did. Next slide.
I see she's in the passenger door, not the driver's.
No, she's not. So the Route 66 Centennial, Route 66, where was it created? Not far from here, Springfield, Missouri. As a bike road, like a Rotary International Convention. That's where they got together. They came up with the idea. There's also a state Route 66 Centennial. So the plan is to do a caravan from down at the border of Oklahoma on Route 66 and stay on it as much as possible. Get I-44 to St. Louis. We get to St. Louis. What else happens in 2026 in the sporting world in Kansas City?
World Cup.
Got it. World Cup. So next slide, please. So World Cup in Kansas City. If we do our caravan around Route 66, we get to St. Louis, we turn our hats around, so FIFA World Cup, we go down 70. I'm asking clubs along both routes to do something to celebrate Rotary, to let the world know about Rotary. That's me. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer. And I appreciate you having me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So Ron, one more job, well, if people can ask questions.
Ron, you mentioned Margaritaville. That's Camden at the lake. That's not Margaritaville.
Oh, I thought that in Margaret.
Read the last three.
Oh, you have 2 of them?
District comments.